Some supplies you might need for your stop motion video. For the pudding cup video, the clamation, I use just some modeling clay that I got from the children's section at the grocery store. You could use pictures, you could use humans or pets, you could use stuffed animals. The backdrop was my kitchen island, and I just put a box on top of the island and put a sheet on top of the box and put the figures in front of the box. And my spotlight was just a flashlight. I used one flashlight to spotlight from behind the camera as I took pictures, and I used a couple of flashlights and a lantern beside the pictures for emphasis. An optional item is a tripod. Because you want each frame to be exactly the same, the tripod will help keep your camera in place. It's not necessary, but it will definitely help a lot. You're also going to need a video editing software like Windows Movie Maker. This comes standard with Microsoft Windows. XP, Vista, and lower versions of Windows have this bundled for free. If you have Windows 7, you might have to download it, but it's also free. And Movie Maker is just one type of movie editor. There are different programs out there, but since this one comes normally standard with your PC, this one is convenient to use. Now, how you make your clamation figurines is up to you. I usually start off with different size balls. For instance, for the dog's body, I would break off a piece, roll it into a ball. And let's say that once I have a round ball, now I can decide what shape this ball is going to work out to be. Like for Puddin', I could elongate the ball because she's a weenie dog. Pull it out a little bit and roll it. And now I have a long dog body. Now for the feet, I started out with smaller balls. And actually legs. I started out with 4 smaller balls, and I roll those into little cylinders as well and stick them on the bottom. And here is a leg. And you just kind of push it into the body here. For the tail, I just rolled a skinnier piece. I've already put all the legs on. For the head, just made a little ball, and we can attach it on here, and then you can work on elongating the snout. And for the ears, I rolled a ball and then I flattened it because Puddin' has big floppy ears, and then we just attach those to both sides. Now we have a dog. Now for the motion, for stop motion video, what we do is we move the dog slightly, we take a picture, we move the dog again, take a picture. And normally we'll do this when we put it in Movie Maker, it's going to be like 1 second interval. So imagine for a 1 minute video, you're going to have 60 pictures. You can even do shorter intervals to make the movements look smoother. And normally what you do is make sure the camera is stationary the whole time, but the object moves. And it's good to also have a reference object. So what we do is we move a leg and take a picture. Then move another leg and take a picture. Or you can just move her body and just take a picture, and it'll look like she's kind of sliding across the floor once you add the pictures in. I've downloaded the pictures from my camera to my hard drive. You could actually import them directly from your camera in the Movie Maker if you so choose. And you'll note that your camera probably gives it numerical names that are in order. Like, for instance, my first picture is DSC 03640. My second picture would be DSC 03641, etc. And you want those in order that they were taken. You could rename them A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You could rename them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. but these names will actually work. Your next step is to import these into Windows Movie Maker. I have Windows Movie Maker open. Depending on which version of Windows you're using, yours might look a little different, but the tasks and procedures are going to be very similar. Over here on the left hand side, I'm going to click Import Pictures, and I save my pictures to my hard drive. If you had these on your camera, you would just go to your camera like it were a thumb drive. But I saved my pictures on my hard drive in a folder called Clamation. And here they are in numerical order. I'm going to left click on one picture, then I'm going to hold down the Shift key, click on the last picture so I can highlight all of them, and then click Import. They're all highlighted. I'm going to go over here to the bottom right and click Import. And now I have every picture here in my collections window, and what I want to do is get the pictures down here to my timeline. So I'm going to, and since they're already in order, I'm going to highlight them once again by left clicking on the first picture, holding down the Shift key and clicking on the last picture. And now I'm going to grab in the blue area and drag down to this timeline. And now all the pictures are in the timeline, and you can get a preview of each picture over here on the right hand side if you click play. And right now the pictures are at a 5-second interval, which isn't going to work for our claymation stop motion video. I'm going to change the duration to about 1 second. Now in this version of Movie Maker, there doesn't seem to be an easy way to change all the pictures, duration, time all at once. You could click on each picture and drag it in, just like you would to make a picture smaller. You could make the time shorter. For instance, I'm going to put the mouse in between the picture until I get a red arrow and then drag to the left, and that makes it a shorter time frame for each picture, but that can get time consuming if you got 60 or 100 pictures there. So instead I'm going to change my default time for each picture to 1 second and then go back in and add the pictures. I'm going to click on Tools, Options, and under the Advanced tab for picture duration, right now it's defaulted to 5. I'm going to change that to 1 second. And for transition duration, looks like the smallest it'll let me do is 0.25 seconds. And then I click OK. And I removed my pictures from the timeline before I did that. Now I'm going to add them back into the timeline. I'm going to left click on the top one, hold down the Shift key, left click on the bottom one to select all of them. Gonna left click in the blue area and drag these down to the timeline. As you can see now, the duration is about 1 second. If you want to view that a little easier, you can just stretch out the timeline by clicking the plus here. Now the pictures are still 1 second each, just the graduation on the timeline is a little bigger, so you can modify the pictures as necessary. I'm going to left click on the first picture, go over here to my preview and play my movie and see what it looks like. As you can see, this is decent. There was a couple of times when my camera moved, so it doesn't look as realistic. So I'm going to go back in and just remove those two pictures where the camera moves so it looks a little smoother. That's why it's good to have a tripod, so when you click the picture, your camera doesn't move. Your camera should stay in exactly the same place each time. Okay, I paused on the picture that looked out of place because the camera jerked too much. So I just go down here to that particular picture, I left click on it, and I hit delete on my keyboard to remove that picture from the timeline. And then I play again and see what it looks like. Periodically, you can save your project before you make your movie. You can just click File at the top left and save project as, or save project. And I'm going to call this one 1 second. Then I'm going to experiment and try 0.5 second intervals and see if it looks different. I'm actually calling this one Claymation 1 second. Well, I experimented with 1 second intervals, 0.5 second intervals, and 0.25 second intervals, and I think I like the 1 second interval the best. So you could be done at this point. You can go ahead and click Make Movie and save this as a movie file and upload it to YouTube. If you want to get a little fancier, you can add text, which is over here on the left hand side under Edit Movie. You can add a title. You can add music, and I think we'll do that next. And that will be under Capture Video. I'm going to import audio or music. And let's go to some sample music that came with the software. Let's try Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. Go to click Import. And now the music is here. I want to drag it down to my timeline under the audio music portion. So I just left click and drag. Now notice that my music is much longer than my actual video that's going to be finished. So I'm going to cut off the music at the same time as the video. I can play until the end of the pictures and click pause, or I can grab this little handle here and move it across until I get to the end. And then I click on the music itself, so that's highlighted. Now go over here to my movie viewer screen and click the split icon here, and then you'll see that my music is split right where the line is. So I click on the outside of the line and just hit delete on my keyboard. And now the music is the same length as my video that's going to be created. And don't forget to save periodically. And we won't do the titles this time. We'll just do music and the pictures. So whenever we're ready, we can go to File and save movie file. If you're using a higher version of Windows, the command might be Publish Movie. And then you have some choices on how you want to save it. I want to save this movie to my computer. I click Next. And you could name the movie whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to leave the default title, Claymation 1 second. You can name it something more descriptive. And you could tell it where to go by clicking Browse. My default is my videos folder. I'm going to leave it there. Click Next. And the default for my computer says best quality for playback on my computer. If you want to make it a lower quality, you can play around with the options, because the lower quality, the quicker it will upload to YouTube, or the easier it might be to view on your phone, or to send through it directly through an email or something like that. But the best quality is going to be the biggest file. But since my whole video is only 18 seconds, best quality will work. And I click Next. And now it's creating my movie. And now, if I want to view it when I click Finish, it's done creating the movie. I can check the little box that says Play Movie when finished, and click Finish. And this just asks me to validate my copy of the movie Windows Media Player, since I haven't used it on this computer, I guess. And it wants me to accept the terms. Normally, if you've already used your media player, you won't see all of that. And now it's playing the movie. And you won't hear sound. I'm on a work computer and I don't have speakers. As you can see, it's not perfect. You can see where I moved the camera. If the camera was perfectly still in each shot, the only movement you see would be the actual little clay dog. And that's it. So try to make your own claymation movie and post it to our thread and see what happens.